diet. It's not like a band-aid for any of this. So if you don't want to buy anything, they have free articles, everything from intermittent fasting to body weight workouts, all free. So you can start there, get acquainted with the knowledge, and then, if you don't want to shop there, you don't have to. It's totally fine. I'm very passionate about their stuff. I use their stuff all the time. I have a bottle of Alpha Brain that I've just finished on my desk. Hacha. Friggin' awesome. Good stuff. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, XilentFlex. Welcome in, my dude.
Oh! What's up, man?
Dude. Oh! I've been doing that randomly since I started watching your streams.
Yeah. I have to simmer down. Like today I was like, oh, I gotta stop yelling, otherwise I'm not gonna have I literally said that. I was like, man, I gotta simmer down on the yells because I won't have a voice tonight if I don't stop. Anyways, dude, I'm pumped to be here, man. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm like very, not only am I very stoked to have you on the show, but thank you for making time for me. I know that as a streamer who streams full time, like taking time away from the stream schedule can be like financially difficult. So I just appreciate you even spending the time with me, like sincerely.
Dude, I would pay money to stare at you at a screen, so I feel like this is I'm getting a freebie right now. You know?
I appreciate it, man. So oh my gosh, dude, we touched base on a few different topics that we wanted to talk about, and I have them written down. They're more like bullet points. But as far as like the show goes, for all you guys who want to interact in the chat, Flex, as you know or may not know, is very good at chat interaction. So if anybody would like to input or ask any questions, basically what you can do is, if you don't want it missed, and let's say we do miss it in chat, you do !Q and then your note or anecdote or question, whether it's for Flex or me, and we will try to answer them during the cast. If we miss it, the nice thing is we can go in after we're like finishing up and wrapping up the show, and y'all be able to get your questions answered or at least addressed. Okay. Looks like
I like that process.
Please address everybody that's here for you, though, man. Like first and foremost, everybody like is definitely
for sure. Yeah, I see Super Kira in there. Is my lovely girlfriend. She's working and listening in, which I thought was pretty awesome. Thanks for being here.
Oh, you sneaky person.
Sneaky one. And I see Benson. We got Fix It. We have Michael Crichton, the one and only Mr. Trash. I see you there too. And then of course Curry. We both know Mr. Curry, the man himself. And then I think there's a couple other people lurking right now. And then we have my good friend Steven, Mr. Awesome Ninjas here. I think there's a couple others in Lurkville I saw in the viewer list. But thank you all for making the effort to come over here and hang out for a little bit. We appreciate it. And hopefully y'all are down for some good conversation and stuff. You can pick Konky's brain and hopefully have fun. So thank y'all for making the effort. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for all coming in. And man, I mean, first and foremost, I would like to also add that my first introduction to you was when I was hanging out physically in the space of Kill Cannon and Curry and Rachel and Kellen. And man, I don't know. I've never like sat around, watched a stream like on a TV with anybody. Usually I'm in front of my computer on my phone. And that was honestly like one of my favorite ways to experience your stream in particular, because of how you handle it. Like you handle it's just like a casual conversation, and you're just like enjoying the company of other people. And I know it's like we're in a room full of other people, right? And it's hard to like address everybody, especially if you're like playing a game and all that stuff. But man, the moments where like it's just you and the camera, like that, dude, it's your strongest suit, really. Like you do such a good job of like actually authentically, and we talk about this a lot, or you and me have talked about this a little bit, about how, you know, authentically engaging with another person online, even if they're like in the chat, it's difficult at first, but eventually like you just get there, and that's a really strong suit for you, man. Like that's like the chat interaction is like 110%.
I was gonna say, I was thinking about it on the drive over here to get ready, that I feel like we both have our own personalities, but I think we can relate to one another. So like, I appreciate your compliment for sure. I have to counter compliment you though, because I think you do an excellent job as well, just with your own spin, you know? Because like what I enjoyed is that you get to play and have fun and enjoy the experience, but you also put a ton of energy and enthusiasm and conky goodness into like hanging out with everybody in the chat too. So it's nice to have like a midpoint where we can kind of relate to one another. So I think you do a fantastic job as well. And it's a one thing, because like I know what it's like to do it. So when I see another streamer do a good job and I don't feel like it's fake, then I'm like, respect, you know? So
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
like, it's always I don't know. The longer you're on the platform, the more you start to realize that people sort of have like an agenda, and you know, there's like the facade of like being a Twitch streamer and what it actually means, and like connecting with people. Like you could tell what a priority is based on like how they're interacting with you, and you sort of feel that out. And it's kind of like the way I equate it to is like not a toxic friend, but like somebody who is trying to get to know you because they feel like there's some sort of benefit for them. Like, what do you give me? You know what I mean? As opposed to like just giving, instead of giving like unconditionally and not expecting anything back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Being a little more selfless. I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, you want me to boost Flex's voice a little bit?
Oh, boost the voice.
How's that? Does that sound better?
You guys want me to... Did that help?
Please let me know before we continue.
Flex, have you ever gone to the gym and did almost a full workout before realizing that you forgot to eat? Because, oh God. Dude, I've done that enough times that I've realized that I need to have a little bit of sugar before the workouts. Otherwise I get wrecked. So yeah, I've been there.
How's that? Tell me, tell us a short story about your, like a short story about you making breakfast or something.
We made breakfast this morning. It was fantastic. Kira made these badass burritos yesterday. And then she had enough be creepy Flex. That's easy. That's my go-to. She had the ingredients to make them still. So we were like, yo, let's burrito this bitch up today. And so she walked the doggios because my eyes were like swollen because my allergies are whooping my A. And I did a professional cutting up and making small potatoes to put in the burrito. So I felt accomplished. And then Kira did the 80% of the rest of the work. So it was delicious though. Yeah.
Perfect volume. Fuck yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. Oh, just,
nice.
We're going to end this stream with a digital hug. I hope you know that.
Oh, nice. I put my nipple pasties on so that we don't get you flagged on Twitch. So I'm ready, dude.
Oh, good call. All right.
I know what's
Wait, we're removing shirts? Another shirt.
Oh, don't tease me, man. Settle down. All right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we had like a brief conversation about it. So, and he immediately screams. Yeah. Kira, I think that's like the go-to move if you get the perfect volume is to scream.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're getting raided. Hello everyone. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The Jenna sisters. Party is 7. Welcome in, everybody.
Is that Gerbalicious? Is that how you say that?
Wait, is it Gerbalicious? I thought it was Jenna sisters.
Gerbalicious.
Oh, it is Gerbalicious. Dude, okay, so like I don't know, I need to fix this because I don't know how to do this. For whatever reason, but my like alerts, I can only see them on OBS Studio. They don't come up in my like event log for whatever reason for raids.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'll read them off centrally for you. Gerbalicious.
Gerbalicious. Thank you so much. Can I get a shout out really quick for Gerb? Welcome in everybody. For everybody coming in, we're doing the XP Talk Show. This is a talk show I do every week. We got a special guest this week, XilentFlex. We're talking about streaming, self-improvement, social media, perfectionism, life balance, all that stuff. You guys may have noticed that the alerts are muted. Here's the boop, 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 boop. There you go. Bam. Also, if you guys have questions while we're talking, there you go.
Yes.
On it.
Are we answering questions literally as we go, or do you, or I think you said yes, right?
It's a mix of both. Yeah. So if we're swept up in the conversation and somebody wants to ask a question, they're more than welcome to do it. I would say do just to be safe, !Q and all that. And then if we miss it, no big deal. We can get it at the end. Exactly.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
then if it's in the context or like we've slowed down on the conversation and we can address it, let's fucking do it. Oops.
All right. Yeah.
Flex, tell us a little bit about yourself, your stream, all that fun stuff.
Goodness gracious. All right. Well, I started streaming on Twitch. I think like 5 years ago. I made a YouTube channel back in I think late 2011, and I did that just for fun at that point in time. And so I had been doing YouTube for like 4 years, I think, originally, and I had built up this really great community on YouTube. And at one point in time, I was like, wow, I'd love to hang out with these people, but like on a more personal level. So I eventually got to the point where I was like, how can I do that and make it exciting and engaging and fun for everybody? And so that was a point in time where I looked into Twitch, and I noticed that Twitch was another platform that like would allow me to get to talk to everybody live, which was different because for years I was just talking to people through the comments in YouTube. So I eventually made a Twitch. I started streaming, very sporadic when I first started, because I did it when I was in college. So it was just kind of something that I did for fun. It was a hobby. And that was kind of the case for a couple years. And I eventually, after I graduated college, I started a string of like trying different jobs that I thought I would like. I've always been like a really stubborn person. So like for me to want to spend my time doing something, I want to enjoy it.
Right.
So I graduated college, and I was like, cool, let me start trying different things so that I can find something that I don't hate every day. And through the process of trying all these different jobs and careers and stuff, I would try something, I would be great, and then I would eventually be like, this is cool, but it's not like my thing. And so I was like, cool, I definitely want to keep pursuing that thing. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to keep trying. So like I would continue to try different things. Every time something didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, there was always like this little voice in the back of my head that was like, yo, Flex, dude, you love streaming on Twitch. YouTube was fun. I've made literally some of the best friends in my life on this platform and YouTube. Like, dude, you should totally try that. But then like the pressure of society would weigh down on me, and I'd be like, whoa, I can't do that because everybody I went to college with is like a doctor now, or they're like making a bunch of money. And so like I dealt with that mental conflict for a while, actually. And my last job was in sales, and I had some bad months where like if you didn't make enough sales, you had to like survive. So you pull money out of your savings account. And I was like, I had 1 month where I was pulling money out of my savings to get by. And I was like, man, I'm supporting myself essentially in a job that I don't really care about too much.
Right.
Like I wasn't enthusiastic about like, what can I do to get better at this job? Like that desire wasn't there. So once I really realized that, I was like, I need to change this right now. Like I'm young, I don't have a family, I have the flexibility to make a big play. So I was like, yo, what do I like really want to do, like without worrying about what other people are going to think of me?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so like I spent 2 weeks and really thought about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give the streaming thing a try.
Nice. And
yeah, I looked at my finances, I budgeted. And so I had enough money to survive for a year. I quit my job. And that's how my streaming, full-time streaming gigs started. So yeah, that's basically my intro story. So I've been doing that for like 8.5 months now.
Dude, that's super awesome. Naked, yes. No, that's super awesome. Like I was kind of in the same boat, mostly from, it's so weird, dude. Like the whole, like the phrase, you are me living a different life, like I think applies to a great deal of people that I have met. And that I was in the same situation, but forced into that situation because I was let go for my job. And I was like, dude. Okay, well, and I experienced the worst, dude. Like I had, like many other people, I had been in retail for a really long time. So I spent like 10 plus years in retail, went to IT, and then like I was at Tesla for a brief period of time, and my work-life balance was complete shit. It was mostly work. I had no life. I fucked up my diet. I gained a bunch of weight. When I started getting my stuff back on track, like 6 months in, I had started saving money in the event that I had been let go for my job, which I never done before, which is hey, recommend at least 6 months of unemployment or more. Like set a budget for that shit, because you never know what's happening
like
with
in
your job.
savings? Oh yeah.
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 So I did that, and then I got let go from my job, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to settle for a job that doesn't have good work-life balance ever again, and I need to work with great people. Because if I can't do that,
Yes, dude.
then I'm not going to fucking work for you, okay? That's my bar, all right? If you don't even meet that, I'm not going in. And so I interviewed at so many places, and they never even like got close to that. So I started streaming full-time and looking for jobs outside of that. And dude, I mean, everybody, like, there was always that voice in the back of my head that was like, you could do this full time. You could really do this full time. I mean, for me personally, I just didn't pursue it because there was a multitude of factors. Like, I don't know, man. It's just the work-life balance that I have. Like, I need to be, I don't know. I just didn't have the same wants for it. Like, I knew where I wanted to be. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's
like absolutely
super admirable to like pursue something so fucking great. And dude, to also just like be that stubborn guy and go for it too. That's great.
Yeah, hopefully it works. But if not,
yeah,
like my big thing starting it was like, I know I would hate my life if I will, because that was me for like the last 3 years. I was like, dude, and I used to live in a place for free. I had the perfect setup ever to do this with like a third of the costs. And I didn't pull the trigger because I was too afraid. And now, like I have like a bunch of real life big time expenses, and I've like slimmed them down as much as I could. But I could get by with what I had in savings. So I was like, bro, you may never have this chance again.
Yeah.
So just do it, even if it fails, then I don't have to be like, yo, what if, you know?
Exactly.
What if sucks.
Dude, the what if sucks. Yeah. It does 100%. Because if you never knew, like, I don't know. I did the same thing. Like I sat down and I just really sat, like I could do this, and I talked with my fiance about it. I was like, I could really do this. Like, if I just pursue this, like, I guarantee you I'd be fine, and we'd be fine, and all of this stuff. And then it was like, but do I want to do that? And that, when I had that, like, when I asked that question, I know it sounds weird, but, like, talking to yourself is one of the best therapies, I think.
Dude. Yes, it is.
Especially, it's a form of meditation to me, you know? Like, it's just, okay, let's actually pay attention to this and look at these things that you're not addressing, and then proceed forward with like the consciousness that exists inside you. Because I feel like we all have this voice when we're not angry or hungry or sleepy. There's that like really pure voice, that like music that comes in to your perspective that just honestly and truly tells you how you feel. And it's really hard to tap into, but if you do it often enough, it's like, it's there for sure.
Yeah. I think having the tough conversation with yourself is like one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Because when you're like, what's the real, you know, like when you were saying you were contemplating doing it, you're like, okay, do I like really want to do this, or like, what do you want out of it, you know? And maybe the answer is like, I want to have like a job that I enjoy, but I also want to have like sustainability, but I also want to stream. But it's like, you know, like finding the real answer behind everything. So I don't know what yours is in particular, but I think it's cool that you were able to reflect and be like, okay, I have a decision to make. Do I continue to do this, or do I deviate and try to pursue something else that maybe will bring a little more joy? And I think finding like the fork in the road and then picking the one where you're like, most joy is this direction, so let's go that direction, you know? So
right.
Like, yeah, I respect that. Tough conversations, man.
Dude, agreed. Speaking of like your start to this whole thing too, you said you started out on YouTube, and I did catch I think it was like a few videos when I first started viewing your channel, just because I wanted to see like, because you had mentioned when I first started watching you about how you had started on YouTube and then you got brought to Twitch, which I thought was an interesting thing. What is your YouTube content primarily about? Because I have it linked as well. If you guys do !flex, you can see his Twitch channel, so you can give him a follow if you're not already, and then you can subscribe to his YouTube channel.
You're awesome, dude. Thanks for doing that. My YouTube stuff. So to give a little disclosure, there was a period of time where like I said, I was conflicted, and I was like, I need to go get a job. So I had made YouTube videos for like 4 years straight, and then I hit a point where I was like, I need to go get a job and be like the after college person. Yeah. Like there's so many like social pressures that will come on top of you to just kind of like fit in the mold, which is tough. I think if you can break out of the mold, that's when you're like really on a pursuit of potential happiness. But you have to break out of it first. So like I was in there too for a while, like until I was in my mid 20s, I was like in the mold. But so I stopped making YouTube videos for a while. But before I stopped, my whole intention to get part of YouTube, I used to watch this guy. His name was CNanners, when I was a freshman in college. And what I enjoyed about his content is I felt like I was able to consume his content and I was able to either walk away with like some extra joy at the end of my day, or I could walk away and like reflect on something that he talked about, like a specific subject,
Right.
and like think about it, you know, like it intrigued me. And then I could think about it enough to an extent that I could relate it to my life and then change something that could potentially change my course so that I was like a little happier. And I loved that. And at the same point in time when I was consuming his content, I had become like infatuated in my late teens with like self-development, because there was like a lot of parts of my high school years I was just like not very confident. I didn't like myself that much. And so I tried to answer those questions for myself and, you know, like ask myself, like, why do I not like myself? What do I not like about myself? And a lot of it was just, I wasn't confident. But like those questions would pop up in my head and I would say, how can I like improve on this? Or like, how can I get over this? And I loved finding resources that helped me answer those questions and put me on a better path to like be happier. Cause I've suffered from depression and stuff. And like, so I loved that. And when I watched CNanners and saw how much power he had to affect my days, I was like, man, I think I could do a decent job at something similar with my own spin.
Mm-hmm.
And so that intention of like wanting to help people, that's what brought me to YouTube. So all my content is basically around like, here's a cool thing that I think is like really fun to think about, and here's how it relates to life. And you know, like if you can take my words and like maybe you'll find a new way to think about something and it can make your life like 2% better, maybe. And if it does, cool, then you get like 2% more joy out of life.
Right.
So kind of like a snippet, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you and me are on the same wavelength for sure. Like I spent a lot of time in my teens not knowing myself and finding validation in what other people thought of me. And in that, I really had a convoluted perspective as to who I was as a person. And so what it ended up doing was I had this paradox of I'm never going to be good enough and I'm not good at anything. And I suck. Yep. And the only reason why is because nobody likes me and like all this other
crazy.
Shit. It was crazy, God. Yeah. So that like, and that was like a huge, portion of like my adult, like beginning of adult life was like, as soon as I turned 18, it was like, okay, well, how do I like make my parents happy and find validation through that? Yep. And I wasn't even like, I didn't even know how to identify like my own emotions or behaviors that I didn't like and what they were. Like I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was like 26 and I'm 29 now. So so there was this whole like period of me not knowing who I was and like not understanding like impulses and all this other shit. It was just like this huge whirlwind of all this all these things that I thought I could identify with and find an identity with, and it ended up leading me way the fuck off the path as to who I was. And then I started like doing it through self-improvement physically, and then had my ego crushed in that aspect, and then it became like this sort of amalgamation of paying attention to myself and emotionally, physically, spiritually, like all this stuff. And it's not a fucking easy task. It's like constantly happening, you know? And you and me are in the same boat on there.
Yeah. Life's crazy sometimes. The self-reflection is what's tough. Or
Agreed.
Like life is like a constant process of failing sometimes and adjusting, or you succeed and then you adjust. Like it's just a constant adjustment. So
all the time. Yeah. And the more people, what's that? There's like some quote and I'm going to butcher it, but it's like the really good winners are the people who failed the most or something like that. And I truly believe that. Like, I can confirm, like even my sister, me and my sister joke about it all the time when she's in here on stream. Like I used to be an asshole, and she's like confirmed he was an asshole. Like,
oh like, my gosh.
I know that. Like I can see that person in the past and I understand where that person happens. And like, I don't know, like we get for trolls and stuff that come into the chat, like I'm not quick to ban anybody. Like I think there's ingredients to making an asshole. You know what I mean? And because I was in there. You know, I've been that guy, and man, it's fucking rough, especially when you know you are too, and you don't know you are. That's like you're swimming in shit and you don't even realize
nobody tells you, or yep.
Yeah, you don't even realize it. Could be like you're not sleeping. Like you'd be surprised how many people could fix a lot of like the negative stuff that they think with just like diet and sleeping and exercise, like the fundamentals of being a human being. You know what I mean?
Small, tiny adjustments can make a big impact if they're the right ones.
Right. Yeah, I mean the self-improvement thing, like that's just you and me both agree. It's constant, always happening, and the same way you want to affect people with your content, it's the same with me. Like I want to make sure that I'm engaging in conversation and you know, broadening people's perspectives by sharing experiences.
That's why I was drawn to you, man. I was like, this guy's real. I respect that. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
So can you share some of this stuff? Like I know like saying self-improvement as a blanket statement is really, I don't know, it's not so much it sounds like a buzzword, right? So like do you remember these like chapters, the start of the chapter for like your self-improvement when you realized that you needed to do something? Like you said you had like was it when you lost your job primarily, or like when you were leaving your job? Sorry, not lost your job.
For, you know, you saying like what started my interest in self-improvement?
Like what was like the first chapter in self-improvement, and how have you like, are there these like cornerstones that you have where you're like, fuck, this is what I should be doing? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So Michael probably remembers this, but so if you're like, in regards to like how it all started with me, it was a process of spending time around people that I envied to some degree, and then trying to like reverse engineer what developed them to be them.
Mm-hmm.
And then looking at myself and being like, you know, like at first you see someone like that and you're like, I wish I was blank.
Yeah.
But then like the shifting point for me was when I got older and I realized like, holy shit, you know, like most of the stuff that we encounter is all because we're making some kind of a mental decision to feel a way or react a certain way to something, even though sometimes like, you know, like somebody will do something, it could make you frustrated. Like that's fair. Like you can't just click a switch off and not get pissed. But in the root of all of that, there is a point at which you make a decision to react a certain way. So like just going deeper into that foundation, realizing like how much impact I had to kind of develop myself if I really wanted to. Like, cause we're really moldable, you know, like that's the great thing about being a human is you can pretty much like change a lot of things if you put the freaking work in.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and so one of the big changing moments for me was like I spent a summer with my cousin, one of my older cousins. He's like 3 years older than me, and I spent a whole summer with him down in Nevada. And I remember watching him. Like I was a teenager at the time, and he had just turned 18, and I think I was like 15. And I envied his outlook like so much that I was like, man, what a guy who, you know, like he was driven and he was being himself, and he had a really, really sturdy course. And it was very evident to me that he wasn't going to like deviate from that course just because of what somebody else said, or like because of what the world said.
Yeah.
And I like respected that so much, because personally, like me, when I was growing up, I was very self-conscious. I wasn't very confident. So I always like felt like I was trying to please everybody. And so I saw him, and to me, part of that was like, that was my key out of the pressure of like trying to please everyone, you know, like that was the beginning, you know?
So like the inspiration behind not wanting to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like being around people like him and my mom, and then realizing that I could mold myself if I really wanted to. And how did I want to do that? So that was like kind of the basis. Yeah. Like I love self-improvement. I think I don't like stuff where it's just like, think positive, be positive, life's great and sunshine and rainbows. Cause like, I'm really real. Like that's what I used to promote. Yeah. And that's some of my older content on YouTube. Like I was just young, and that was like part of the stuff that I would promote, and everybody loved it. And then I like went through some shit when I got in my
That's what happens,
like,
bro.
Dude, life bent me over, dude. And then I was like, holy shit. Sometimes you could be Mr. Giddy Giddy and you'll get wrecked, and it doesn't matter.
Still get fucked, yeah.
yeah, what I realize is you have to be realistic with your approach.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like expectations, you have to be realistic with those too. So yeah, so like, you know, it was just a realization of like the power you have and being realistic and stuff. I probably deviated a little bit from my statement there, but yeah, so
No, for real. I think like what it takes is you have like a positive outlook and you think that's the key, that's the thing that I need, and you spread, and we see this a lot on Twitch, especially this generic positive feedback that doesn't have any sort of weight behind it. It just makes you feel good and you'll forget about it in 15 minutes because, you know, you saw it, right? It's like those motivational posts on Instagram, wherever. It's just generic. It applies to everyone. It's like a horoscope. It's not like specific enough to your life where you could benefit from it. And you get dragged through the shit. And that's honestly where all the fucking growing goes. Like
it is. If you ain't been through some shit, man, and then you shouldn't be giving advice to some degree.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, can I trust you? Because you don't seem like you've gone through a lot of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I think like I mean I can think of quite a bit, but like one story, and I do talk about it a lot on the show in particular, was finding out that I had ADHD, and then prior to this, and I will remember this forever, it's why the gorilla exists, the sensory deprivation tank experience that I had, where I got to like meet my manifested what I would call primitive behaviors, physically, like meet them in a space. And man, I'll just fucking tell the story. Okay. So I took an edible, all right, and I went into a sensory deprivation tank. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's a spa room you rent for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on like what you pay. It's like $60 to $80 depending on where you go. I did this in a legal state. Okay, it was in Colorado, and you have this really nice spa room, relaxing environment, and the tank is filled with 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt, and it's enclosed, so you can have lights on or off depending on the style of the tank or whatever. It sounds scary when I say it, but it's honestly like the most relaxing thing I've done. And you float suspended in water that's the same temperature as your skin and body temperature, and you dissolve, your physical being dissolves, and you're just left with your thought if you can relax enough. So regardless of if you do that or not, I'm saying like everybody, you know, can have a psychedelic experience doing this. I set myself up for that. So the first time I went in, I was flying over a white desert, Sahara Desert. It was all sand. There's a green dot in the center. I see it, and all of a sudden I'm in the jungle, and there's a gorilla sitting there, and I get face to face with it, and then I got to get out of the tank. Time's up. Don't know what that is, right? I didn't even meet the thing, and I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck does that mean? And then I was just consumed by this thought of like, what is this gorilla? What did it want to tell me? Like, that was really strange. Like, it doesn't seem like it was out of nowhere. And then a few months later, like 3 or 4 months later, I'm back in Colorado. I go back in the tank, and I'm like trying to make the gorilla thing happen, and I'm like, it's not happening. I'm in the tank for I don't even know how long. I get frustrated. I get out. I sit back down, and I'm like, okay, I just need to like go in there, no expectations, just experience my shit. And so I get back in there, and like I don't know what the time is, but I'm back in the jungle that I found myself in the first, what I felt was the first one. So it felt familiar, and I'm like, great, I'm gonna find this gorilla. So I'm going everywhere. I'm pulling apart leaves and all this shit, and then I climb to the top of a tree, and I'm like looking out over this vast jungle that exists, and I'm like, I'm never gonna find this gorilla. And then I get this feeling that I'm posed like this on the tree, and I look at my hand, and I have a gorilla hand, and I realize that I am the gorilla.
You are the gorilla. Nice.
And I was like, even talking about it now, it's super emotional for me, because for months, and I'm talking about for like at least half a year, I had berated myself with the thoughts that the like primitive behaviors of being a human, especially ones that were attributed to like ADHD, like interrupting people or engorging myself on food, or like seeing somebody of the opposite sex and be like, oh, she's sexy, you know, like those sort of things. Like I should be able to prevent those because I'm a human being and all this stuff. And I was trying to separate these things from myself, and you can't. It's part of you. And it was like this extreme washover of forgiveness. Exactly. You know? And like after that, it was like, okay, well, what else can I address? because clearly, like, I need to approach myself not only with more forgiveness, but understanding that I'm not, fully human being. I evolved to be this thing, and there's these things that exist, and that's fine. You need to approach it with forgiveness. The same with everyone else,
Mm-hmm.
Fucking nuts, dude.
It's crazy. You can get put on a different path,
Yeah, just from like a sensory deprivation tank experience, or like a conversation with a human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just takes one thing, the tipping point. Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a lot more. Like, well, I don't know. Breakups for me were like, there was like some
both, man.
bam, bam, like pinnacle ones. Like, oh God, getting your heart broken is probably like the most ego breaking thing ever.
Yeah, that's so true too. But like, I can relate to that because if it wasn't for like some of those really big like punches in the face, I wouldn't have like been able to check myself on some of my preferences and like having enough self-respect to know what you are looking for, and to just be like, fuck it, I'm not gonna settle,
Right.
Instead of being insecure and be like, oh, I need validation so bad that I'm gonna settle for someone who doesn't respect me,
or I need to complete myself by finding another person.
Yes, or like I can't be me without having the validation of somebody else romantically, otherwise I'm worthless,
Exactly.
Yeah. So I can relate to that too, for sure.
Dude, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about like the whole like journey for this stuff, because we touched base on a few things while we were talking. Like, I mean, with you and me and a lot of people in chat, we've grown up through this like sort of weird. I mean, it's just weird. We grew up without the internet. Now we have internet. Now we're talking with each other over like in completely different states. Stable connection. People are interacting with us, like
with a bunch of people watching.
Yeah. Like what the fuck?
What is this shit?
All of this is weird. So what has been like your biggest learns, I guess, while pursuing this stuff full time and becoming, XilentFlex? What has been like the biggest learns for you, I guess?
Dude, that's such a tough one. You know what? There's like some reality that it's the tough reality of accepting that sometimes you fuck up.
Yeah.
And like, like I had this vision of myself before full-time streaming, and I was like, yeah, like independent, in my late 20s, I'm an adult, I got what it takes. Then I started doing this, and then very quickly learned that I have a lack of discipline in some major areas when it involves being self-employed.
Yeah.
And if I don't come to terms with what those things are and like work on them, I'm not going to make it. So
yeah, for sure.
One of the big things I learned was it doesn't matter what you do. Like, I knew streaming was tough in the get-go, but I also was like, this is manageable. Then I started doing it, and then I was like, wow, there's way more to this than just turning on a stream and hitting start.
For sure.
Yeah, and then, but just like really realizing that I think to some degree, unless you're like the 0.01% where you like, you do something and you wake up every day and you just want to like bust a happy nut because you're so excited to work. Like, yeah. I feel like it doesn't really matter what you do. Some days are work,
Yeah.
But, like recognizing what are some of the areas you got to really improve on to make sure that you're successful is a big deal. And then just like accepting that, like, no matter what or who you are or what you're doing, it's okay to like have some faults.
Yeah.
Because it's a constant learning process. So I would say, bust a happy nut. I would say, yeah, that was off the top of my head too.
That's a good merch idea for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, busting happy nuts every day.
But that's a Twitter bio if I ever heard one, bro.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's see, man. My goodness, what's another thing? I think I've learned how awesome it is because like so for the last 4.5, 5 years, in all the professions I've been a part of so far, I've most of the time woken up and been like, oh, but to have over the last 8.5 months, like I have days where I'm stressed out of my mind.
Right.
That's fair. Right. But to have the majority of the days and wake up and be like, cool, I get to stream today. That's pretty tight.
For sure, dude.
I've discovered the value in that. So like, even if streaming doesn't work for me, I definitely want to make sure I don't give up on the pursuit of finding that, like, that's pretty cool, like that thing. So I think it's unrealistic to expect that, like, no matter, I'm not gonna find something that's just like, oh my god, 99% of the time I'm just like so happy, because that's not realistic. But if I'm like 70% of the time happy, cool, you know. So yeah, I would say those are two of the like off the top of my head. And expectations, man. You, I've learned a lot over the last 8.5 months about having realistic expectations or trying to remove them completely.
Oh,
I
sure.
think
Talk a
expectations
little
is
bit.
an argument.
Talk a little
Go
bit
ahead.
more about that, because like that's something that I feel like is not talked enough about on here.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, I mean, I'm part of a stream team as well, and like we get applications to be a part of the team, and like there's a section of like what are your goals and aspirations, and people are like, I'm gonna get partner this year. I'm like, all right, let's take a look at your channel. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yep. Oof. Okay, so like expectations. I have like 2 points I can make, I guess, and one kind of relates to what you just said, and then another one is like social expectations, which I think everybody would benefit listening to a little bit. I'll start with that one. So like, I'm learning, and this is really fucking hard. Like, it is very difficult to say I'm gonna erase my expectations from some kind of a standard, and just like let whatever happens happen and keep on course. So, for example, like I'll pick one friend in particular. I won't name who they are. I won't even name their gender.
Sure.
But I have like one friend in particular, been best of friends for a long time. And for the longest time, I was like, I remember my first 4 months of full-time streaming. Like, this person literally didn't come to my stream once. And they know what I'm doing. They know how much is at stake. Like, putting literally like 95% of my savings into this, like, big deal for me to do that. And
Right.
and for a long period of time, I was like, man, I was expecting them to be present, at least to show that they support me as a friend. And like, it built up a lot of aggression towards them. Like, I didn't tell them, which is probably a fault in itself, but
For sure.
like,
Yeah.
in my mind, I was like, man, that kind of sucks. Like, what the hell? But as time progressed, I learned that to some degree, it's really important to understand circumstances and scenarios or people. So like, the friend in particular that I know of, I know what kind of a person he is, and I know that it's not who he is to take the time to go and venture to my stream. And I realized, I was like, that's okay, because that's who they are.
Right.
And I think I need to accept that instead of expecting them to react in a way that like fulfills my needs.
Right.
Just like if I'm gonna be friends with this person, I can't expect them to do something that they're not gonna do, because it's just not who they are, and they're not even consciously not doing it on purpose. It's just not who they are.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, so that's just like one moderate example, but like, I think that I've learned how to. Well, I'm still trying to apply that to like streaming. For me, is trying to remove expectations and just trying to like do what I'm doing without letting things affect me so much, because like, streaming is something, it can really get you down in so many ways, you know.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like taking a peek at the viewer number, and it's like lower than your expectations are, and then you're like, oh god, I suck. But it's like, no, you don't suck. There's 1,000 other things everybody could be doing that they can't make it to your stream. So
Exactly.
yeah. So that was the first one. Second one, I'll make short, because I'm just talking. But
No. This is the whole thing, man. You're sharing your experience to people who may be unfamiliar with this whole thing, or maybe like are on the journey themselves, and they are in the process of this. So like that 2% or more that you're talking about like helping people, you are doing that right now.
Cool.
All right, so
that's fair.
Go for it.
Okay, so like the second one is more along the lines of what you were referring to, which is like, when you have, I don't know, like, there's something you're wanting to do, or there's a scenario at play, and you're like, you have a goal and you have these expectations. I think it's really important in life to be realistic with things. I think it's so easy to do exactly what you said and be like, partner in a year and like full-time streaming, making, X amount of money. 'Cause yeah. And so there was part of me that had a little bit of that before starting. And then after having done it for like 8.5 months, I was like, holy shit, this is hard, like to make it on Twitch. So I've learned, like, I think part of my answer is like, patience is really important with being realistic. But like, I learned how important it is to like adjust my expectations. I think having expectations is fair. So I don't know that it's it's realistic to expect to not have them.
Right. I would say, like, I mean, just to add on to what you're talking about, like, it's not that you shouldn't have expectations, but the expectations should be coming from yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what you expect of yourself. And, like, if you were going to watch somebody, what are your expectations?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you hold yourself accountable to those. And then everything else is, like, non-reciprocal. Like, you obviously there's ways to give back to community members and like people that you're involved with, or like the communities that you involve yourself with on Twitch, but expecting things in return is the wrong way to go about it. Like, it's just, you cannot expect. I love that. Do you watch Futurama at all?
I've seen some of it, but I haven't seen like a ton, but I have a respect for their humor. Yeah.
No, there's a really great quote from that show. In particular, if anybody's familiar with the show, they know it's the episode where Bender is temporarily a god, and he gets to meet God, the universe, whatever. And the quote that I really like is, when you do things right, people aren't sure you've done anything at all. And I like that a lot. Like, it's just like, there's no expectations whatsoever. You're just doing right by what you think is like fine. And you know, people will sort of, we talked about this actually briefly, where the whole gravitational pull of things just sort of happens. Like, we ourselves have our own gravitational pull, the energy of affecting other people, and naturally we move in and outside of circles. This kind of leads to the question, was it Fix It? Fix It, I think you asked a question about, like, have you ever had a best friend break up? I think this kind of addresses that. In the aspects of, like, energy levels, I know this sounds like woo-woo bullshit, but bear with me.
So true, dude.
As we accrue our experiences in life, we become more dense with experience, and we gravitate to those people who have a lot of experience or similar experiences to us. And there's this sort of just orbit that starts to happen. You circle around these friend groups, you get to know everybody for a long period of time, and then naturally, as planets do, they accrue different mass, and then, you know, trajectory changes and orbits change, right? And then maybe you shoot off into an entirely different galaxy because of your situation. The whole point is, you know, we're all on our own journey, and people leave and people go, and it doesn't mean that, like, you know, you can't be good friends with people after leaving orbit or having respect for one another as human beings. That's something that I think is it's very seldomly come by. Like, it's like, okay, well, I don't get to see you that often, but I fucking respect the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Like, I can say that confidently to a lot of people that I don't get to hang out with a lot, especially as somebody who was unemployed and was streaming full time and got to meet people all over. And it's like, you know, I get to see those people still, but it's not at the same capacity. So it's like, fuck, you know? So yeah, it's a weird thing, man. It's super weird. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But I think you would agree. I think you would agree with that.
No, absolutely.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
I was gonna say, like, this kind of ties into the whole, like, perfectionism stuff, because, you know, when you set expectations improperly, that's where you sort of, and I'm the same way, like, there's this sort of berating thing that starts to happen where it's like, I should be doing this, we could be doing this, I should be hitting these numbers. It's so easy, especially when it's quantitative. Like, after your stream, we get to see all the things that happened, you know what I mean? All of this shit, it's just like, that perspective, is it really you talking, or is it the improper expectations that you have
results you want?
Exactly. So, like, how do you deal with perfectionism? Like, let's say you had, like, a and I can share mine as well, but I'm very curious as to how you handle this. If you feel like
perfectionism,
that perfectionism, that perspective, like, creeps itself in, and you're feeling down and you're feeling out, like, what's a good way that what do you do to recenter yourself, or at least, like, find that sort of balance, if you will?
My go-to answer, I hope that this answers your question too, is being, like, genuine. I think that would be my go-to, because, so, like, for me, in terms of perfectionism, like, I think it's unrealistic to expect to be perfect. But I think that it's fair to have an intention to want to be as close to that as you can, as long as you're originating from a point of being genuine and honest. Like, so for me, like, for instance, I hid my viewer number for a long time because it really used to affect, like, you know, it's really crazy. You get used to being at a certain level, and then you grow a little bit, and then that becomes your new comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that used to be your comfort level is now, it's so easy to, if you were to slip back to that, to take that as a failure instead of just taking it as, like, you know, like an occurrence for some reason that you're back there, if that made any sense. So yeah, so like, I think that for me, when I try to look at the results I'm trying to get, I try to ask myself, like, what is my intention, and am I being honest with myself? So I think that I think you goofheads. For instance, like with the viewer number, I was like, it was very difficult for me to be honest with myself for a while about why. I was like, why is this bothering me? And because there was a part of me that felt guilty for recognizing that, like, I wanted to be successful on Twitch too, while also being genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like like, people can relate to this when I get like donations and stuff. It's sometimes I struggle with, like, feeling worthy. And so
Same.
yeah, dude. And so, like, my go-to is like, wait a second, do you deserve this? And so, like, with the viewer number, just as a base level example, I struggled for a while feeling like that was a way to validate myself on Twitch. And then for a while, I was like, why is that bothering me? And I feel like it was because I was being ingenuine to myself because I was wanting to produce numbers, higher numbers. But then I was like, wait, is that really what you're wanting to do? Or do you just want to be successful also? And I was like, wait a second. Yeah, I want to have more people that watch me, but I also want to be myself and have them watch me because they like me. So, you know, like, there was nothing wrong with me wanting that outcome. So in regards to, like, me being just honest with myself, it was a point of me kind of reflecting on what was important to me out of the scenario and, like, why I wanted the outcome that I did, and accepting that it was okay to feel a certain way. I feel like I'm deviating a little bit from my answer.
No, this is totally on topic. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, you know, like, I remember thinking about it in terms of, like, a TV. I tell people now, I'm like, if you can get to where you can look at your viewer number and use it strategically, like a TV station would never release a show without reflecting on, like, how well they're doing and, like, why is this working and why is this not working? So instead of being critical of myself, I was like, you know what? Let's keep this up so I can see, like, this is the kind of parts of the stream that everybody likes, and this is the parts that people don't like. And asking myself, like, the parts that people don't like, do I like them enough to want them to be part of the stream no matter what? Or am I willing to change them for something else that I also enjoy that also gets me the outcome that I want? So
yeah, that's a really tough one to do. So, like, do you and the way I've done this is, like, I look at my stream summary and I look at where the drop off is for viewers, and I'm like, okay, we're going to that fucking time point and seeing what's up. Like, is that how you identified it?
So what I do now is I actually keep the viewer number up all the time.
Oh,
and
okay.
I look at it all the time now, and it doesn't bother me at all. But it
That's
literally
great.
took me like 7 months to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I think, like, anybody that streams needs to come to that conclusion on your own terms.
Right.
Because it really used to affect, like, I get where people come from when they say that, like, they get, you know, it, like, hurts their stream because it bums you out and stuff. But, like, it's also okay to be realistic with yourself and, like, look at the numbers, remove the emotion, and just kind of, like, reflect on, like, okay, what can I improve? What did, you know? So.
Yeah, the hard part, like, I think for a lot of people too, and I did this when I first started, like, what, years ago. It was like 4 years ago when I first started streaming, and I thought I was funny, and I could, like, I didn't really understand the scope of what I could do with OBS or, like, graphics or anything, or, like, scenes or anything. And I really enjoy making people laugh, but also, you know, engaging in a conversation. So how do I find this delicate balance, right? And I wasn't being true to myself, and so trying to validate myself through people who I didn't know at the same time. And it's so weird too, because I gravitated towards, like, the same, like, sort of the same vibe of people. Like, they were, my chat was filled with a lot of people who were, like, depressed and, like, not finding validation in other people and engagement. And it's like, okay, well, I totally understand that now, but back then when you're swimming in it, you don't really get to see that. And I just saw, you know, my number stay the same. My number of viewers stay the same over the course of, you know, like a year and a half. And I gave up streaming briefly because I didn't understand what I could be doing wrong or doing better. And, you know, stepping back and reevaluating everything, it was like, well, I'm not streaming the content that I would want to watch. You know, like I'm not personifying the thing that I'm like trying to do. I'm literally just turning the camera on with like some stuff that I had made, and that's it. You know, like I wasn't really thinking about it. Kind of like how you started with, you know, just turning the camera on and expecting people to show up. Like it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
man, dude. Yeah, that perfectionism portion though is really tough because that during your lowest times and lowest numbers, like that's when the voice is like, "Hey, dude, you're a piece of shit. Go fuck yourself." Like,
yeah, you suck.
You suck. Yeah.
You're not gonna make it. Yeah. That was actually kind of hard for me to answer now that I'm like reflecting on my response. But like, it's difficult when you're like, and I think in terms of perfectionism, it's just like, what is your expectation of like where you should be versus where you're at, and then combat like, what knowing that and then being where you are, how do you deal with the gap? Are you happy about it? Are you, you know, like that's the tough part, is reflecting on it and reacting.
Right.
So, but yeah, like that's a tough one, dude. Like, I think being realistic is very important as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do, like the realistic portion and the perspective really comes from how confident you feel outside of the whole stream aspect. Because like, I mean, just by talking with you and seeing how you handle stream outside of stream, we know Flex has some shit on lock. You know what I mean? Not all the time.
You are, man.
No, I'm serious. Like this is very recent. We all have these ebbs and flows. You guys get to see perfection when the stream is up, and I'm not fucking listen to me fucking saying perfection. No, you guys get to see like the highlights. It's the same thing with social media. You guys get to see us at our best on stream. There are moments, you know, that where we are not, you know, there, and we do have it on live, and like I've cried on stream before. Like that's happened unexpectedly. There's vulnerable moments for sure, but far more than that, you guys get to see the best side of ourselves. And a lot of that, I feel, it comes from being really true to the things that make us happy outside of stream. So, like balance was probably like the biggest thing that I tried figuring it out. Like when I was first starting streaming, I would stream late hours. I would stream a long time. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't eating well. Everything kind of went out the window, and that kind of comes with like the whole, with ADHD, there's hyper focusing and like burnout a lot. And so like trying to find the balance between, okay, well, how late can I stream before like the next day and I'm fucking tired? Like it was like, how do I stream more is what I was figuring out, instead of like, okay, well, how long should I actually be streaming, and what responsibilities am I fucking negating, and am I actually paying attention to like what I'm doing to make a successful stream? What are the ingredients for that? So I guess that's my question. What are the ingredients for you to come into stream and be so stoked outside of that? Like, what are the things you do outside of stream that you really enjoy that help bring that balance to you?
Bring the balance.
Yeah. And if you need me to, I can share mine if you need to think about it. Like, up to you.
So let's see. I think for me, like, I'm going to try to answer this in parts, and hopefully it's the response you're looking for. But I learned like really quickly, like when I started streaming full time, I was like, here's what's expected: 40 hours a week on live, and doing all the social media stuff on top of that, and doing this and doing that and doing this. And then I did that, I think, for 3 months. And then I remember getting to a point just in that 3-month period where I was like, I'm starting to not like this, because I was burnt out all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
can you identify really quick? Because saying burnout is one thing, but like, how did you know you were burnt out?
So it was socially, I was exhausted. And I'm just like sitting on a computer playing games and talking.
Right.
But like, it's so, it's so easy. Like people watch what you do and they're like, oh, that's easy. And then it's like, so you feel like, because being a streamer, you're just in front of a camera playing a game. Like, I feel like there's this part in your head where you're like, you need to be live like 40 hours to be accepted.
Right.
So I learned for myself that every streamer is different depending on what kind of stream you want to have, and you have to set your own standards in order to be like happy on stream. So to answer part of your question, some of the balance that I learned was that it was me accepting that I am a very social streamer and I only have a certain level of social energy every day. And once I hit that cap, I'm blown out, man. And if I overdo it, I don't have any social energy to do anything for the rest of the day. Like I'm done.
Staying inside.
And so, yes. And so what had happened was I would do like these 40-hour weeks 40-hour stream weeks where I was streaming for 40 hours. Then I would finish stream and I'd feel like a POS because I wasn't energized to do anything. And I still had all these other things I needed to do as well. So for me, it was like coming to terms with being like, hey, dude, it's okay to stream less than 40 hours a week, depending on what kind of a stream. I was like, wait, I don't need to feel guilty for being tired after streaming for like 4 to 6 hours because I talk nonstop. So like looking at that, accepting it for what it is, being honest with myself instead of being like, no, dude, you have to be live for 8 hours. Otherwise it's not full time. No, it's like, no. I have a standard. And I tell people this all the time. Like everyone comes in and they're like, dude, you're the best. You're so positive. I'm like, no, I'm actually a turd ball sometimes. You guys just don't see that all the time.
Right. Relatable.
I'm human. Yeah, I'm human. And like one of my things for being in like a great state was finding my sweet spot for how long I felt like I could stream and not run out of gas.
Your stamina meter. Yeah.
Yeah. And so part of the recipe for me having fun consistently has been like cutting my hours back to a realistic time period where I feel like I can be social and interactive and not hit my empty meter. And that, like, dude, that by itself energized me a ton.
Hell yeah, man.
And yeah, so that was a really big one. And then I realized that when I adjusted that, I was able to do all the other things in like work out and spend time with friends and stuff that I didn't felt like I had the energy to do before. And then immediately, because I wasn't just putting energy in work and feeling accomplished, I was putting it in other areas as well. I started feeling like overall better. So like, I would say like that was my biggest go-to was that. And then trying to like make sure my thoughts are appropriate is like really easy to be doubtful and stuff.
Yeah.
And Kira was a great fix for me in this regards recently. Cause like I realized I spent a lot of my mental energy being like, what if I don't make it? What if this doesn't happen? Instead of like focusing on those thoughts, I could choose to focus on other things instead.
Yeah, and you've already dealt with the ambiguity of the situation as best you can. You can't put yourself in the scenario where you're failing because it hasn't fucking happened yet.
Yeah.
So you can't like put that shit in the future and like see it coming at you. You know what I mean? Like you can't. And I mean, dude, that's so like what you're talking about is this whole perspective of the unknown. And when you talk about your friend that you got inspiration from, you're like, wow, you're so confident. Like, you know what you're confident in. Like, confidence is a word, but feeling like you don't know is really like, I feel like that's the vibe. Like if you are in a state of not knowing that and things are shaky and you're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna get fucking wrecked. Like,
yes. Oh,
like the not knowing is the worst part of like anything.
Fucks with you, man.
Yeah, it fucks with you the whole time. It's like, hey bro, you still don't know what's going on. I'm like, I know I don't know, but that's okay. You know, like there's there's this whole thing that happens. It's just like this normal dealing with the ambiguity is totally fine, and not knowing is fine. Like admitting you don't know is part of like the biggest, I think, ego destruction that you need.
Yes, dude.
And it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be like, hey, excuse me, I don't fucking know. Like there's just
I accept that.
It's fine, yeah. And obviously these thoughts like still permeate both you and my own perspective. You address it by saying, yes, I know you're fucking there. All right. Well, I'm going to think about it right now. I'll be a little sad about it right now, but I'll be okay. I'm going to move past it. Yeah. Dude, yeah, the burnout thing was the same thing with me. It was just like, I would stream late hours. I would be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this like 40 hours a week. And then I was tired. I was not as engaging and it wasn't fun. That was the big thing. I realized I wasn't really having fun with it. It was like, I have to do this. Yep. They expect this of me. It's like, nobody made these expectations for you. You did, you dumbass. Like,
and like everybody, Twitch is so easy to try to measure your success on different factors because it's so different as a job.
Right.
that like it takes doing it for a little while, like like doing it as a career is an immediate shift. And then you have to do that for a little bit to get slapped in the face enough for someone to be like, yo, wake up, you know? Like,
Yeah.
these things are okay. Now adjust. Right. So
Yeah. Adjust with the ambiguity.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, we had like a lot of questions come in too.
I know. There's so many. I was like, I was gonna not answer them yet.
Oh
no,
yeah,
you do whatever. Sorry,
we got cues in. We got cues in, man. We got cues in, so they're in there. Yeah, don't worry, we didn't miss any of them. Again, like if anybody is coming in and they want to ask questions, just !Q. Oops,
throw them in there.
Yeah, throw them in there.
Yeah, I saw those popping off. I was like,
they're popping off.
I was afraid to read them because there were so many. I didn't want to like disrupt. So.
No worries, man. Yeah, if it's in context, like we can address it.
Sure.
If it's organic in the conversation, fine, you know. We'll have a portion where we go through all that stuff, and I see you guys popping off in chat as well. I will thank each and every one of you. So part of that balance, we talked about burnout. So like, tell us a little bit more about like so what are the ingredients for you to have a great like stream and life balance? So we got understanding your stamina meter, so that was one. What are the other things happening up in here?
Like mindset is an easy get. So like a lot of people come in and you're like, oh my god, like I love your atmosphere, you're always so positive and this and that. Like great compliment to receive. I've gotten really good at like respectfully responding and being like, thank you for being awesome and like transparent with me. But you know, like just so you don't have an unrealistic expectation of me, or like just so you don't put me on a pedestal, because who I am 24/7 in front of you guys is not who I always am. And it's important for you to recognize that like sometimes I'm grumpy, sometimes I get depressed, like massively depressed.
Yeah.
And like I'm upfront about that. And I'm also upfront with like the reason everybody sees me in the state that I am on stream is because I put a lot of work to be in the right mindset when I am ready to be on stream. And so like one of the things that I practice, and like Kira can tell you this because she sees the back end part, like I try to really make sure that I'm at a certain level of like feeling good for the day, you know? And if there is a day where like I know I'm just not in the right place, if I personally need to like step away and take a day or a couple hours, then I do. Because like I have like a standard, you know, and like if I'm having a day where I'm just like really irritable and I'm just like negative, I'm like, you know, like people don't watch me to hear me complain about stuff and like be really non-talkative and just be negative.
Yeah.
That's part of who I am, but that's not part of like, I don't have fun being on stream when I'm in that mode.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful enough. I get really good. 95% of the streams I can get, even when I'm having like a really crummy day, which for example, like I could have a really, really bad day and I know it's coming in the morning. I wake up and I'm like, fuck, I have to stream today. And I'm just like not having it today.
Yeah.
I go into like, all right, Flex, like what are the activities that I can do to try to kick myself in a better mode? And so I really try to do those. And if I don't hit a point where I'm like, okay, now I feel really good, then sometimes I'll step away. I mean, I actually do that if I'm not at a level where I'm happy and I'm going to enjoy the stream, I step away. But I only do that because I can make it to most streams. Like if I was missing 5 streams, you know, 5 to 10 streams a month, then I need to change I need to be like, maybe I need to be on stream where I'm not in a good mood.
Right. Or maybe you need to figure out what are the ingredients to that day.
Yeah.
Right. Or
exactly.
like, what was the night before? Did you stay up too late? What did you eat?
Yep.
Like there's these things that they're the ingredients to making a bad day. And like, I've been there too. Like where the first thing in the morning, like, fuck, it sucks. Something happened. I spilled my coffee, whatever. It's like, great, we're fucked.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You can move past those with like a workout or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. And then like, you know, for me, it was like important to recognize that like, I'm not hiding those things. I just choose not to be present when I'm in that place. And there's nothing wrong with me deciding what kind of a standard I want to have for myself on Twitch. That's why I'm upfront, because I feel like if I were to pretend like I am always giddy and stuff, that's a dick move.
Yeah.
So even though people don't really see me when I'm irritable, I like to be upfront about it so that they're aware. So like, because I feel like people watch me sometimes. I get young kids and I can tell they're like, oh my God, this guy's cool. I'm like, I want you to know, even if you like me, there's times when I don't feel good. So it's relatable. So that's why I like to tell people, because
Right.
I know some kids watching are like, oh man, I wish I was happy like all the time. I'm like, wait, I'm not happy all the time.
Pump the brakes.
But that's okay. I'm freaking human. You know,
Yeah.
like I have days where I just want to punch everybody in the face. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So that's okay. But yeah.
That's super important. Like, that's a really big part of balance, is recognizing your emotions and dealing with them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a huge miss for a lot of people. Like, it's just this, things go unaddressed and you're stuck in this momentum of like having a terrible day all the time, or being stuck in the momentum of like the shit. And you need to find the, like, I don't know, it's like the wave of life picks you up off the ground and you're stuck in the air and you don't really get to touch the ground as often. But when you do, oh my God, it's like the best fucking thing. You're having the greatest day, you know? It's just, man, I can't even, that's the best way I can articulate it. Man. Dude, we touched on all the learns of self-improvement and what your journey has been. Is there anything that you would give in terms of advice to people who are possibly looking to start this journey on Twitch? Or maybe it's just advice in general for people on social media or navigating this like new internet world. I'll leave it to you on that one.
Ooh, advice to people looking to get involved with streaming, right? Or like social media as a whole.
Social media, whatever. Like, just, I mean, you can't, dipping your toes in this pond is very hard.
Yes.
Like, you can never just be like, oh, I want to be a little bit in Twitter. Just a little bit. That's not happening. Like, you're gonna be in there. Like, it just happens. We're craving these, like, we're in this scenario in this time and place where we're working more than we possibly can spend time with people. And so naturally people gravitate for connection towards the easiest accessible thing, and that's online. So
yeah, it is.
You know, if I'm gonna be like looking at stuff. Well, let's make it easy. Let's make this question easy.
Sure.
What would you say is a good starting point for anybody looking to be involved in Twitch as a viewer, streamer, whatever?
Okay, yeah. So I have like an immediate go-to. A couple. So I would say, like, what's really important when you get involved with Twitch is being and accepting that it's okay to do this, is being strategic with your approach. So, you know, like, people look at how far I've come in 8.5 months and stuff, and everybody, like, it's really easy to see that success and think that it just happens. Like,
Right.
I'm very, you know, I try to be strategic with the actions that I have experience in. Like, there's some things that I suck with. I'm still really trying to work on my social, like, outside of Twitch game. Like, it's taken a lot of work for me to be more present on Twitter.
Right.
I still suck at Instagram, but I'm trying. So, like,
You
I
and me
recognize,
both.
yeah, dude, I recognize that there's some big uh-ohs I still got to work on. And there's a couple things I'm pretty good at. And I think, like, for instance, I think being strategic with asking yourself, what's the outcome you want to get? Like, you want to be part of Twitch? Do you want it as a hobby? Do you want it to be something you potentially make into a career?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, asking that question and then writing down your response. And then one of the most powerful things I think is people don't think about is saying, what kind of a streamer am I? So, like, I'll give an example. I talked about this the other day too, but there are, like, everybody comes in and compliments. I feel like you have the same thing as well. People come in and compliment your community, and they're like, great community, like, so supportive, so many cool people. I love it, you know? And it's great, right? To receive that compliment. But it's like, that doesn't happen by accident all the time.
Right.
So I think people, like, you know, I have so little experience with trolls in my stream. It's awesome. I'm really thankful.
Yeah.
Like, I have, of people that have come in and willingly, like, tried to just throw down in chat and try to make me unhappy.
Sure.
I don't even know that I could count them all on like my toes and my hands.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for that, though. And sometimes trolls will come no matter what. But, like,
Right.
I think everybody needs to ask themselves, what kind of a stream do you want to have, and what kind of friends do you want to be surrounded with in your stream?
Yeah, for sure.
So, example, there are and I love Trick2G, but just saying, I love his content, but I'll tell you right now, I like it for a reason, because it's dramatic. He's funny. I love it when he's whooping some ass and he's just flaming people. I'm like, yeah, Trick2G, feel the cane. And then when he gets wrecked, like, he gets all pissed and dramatic, but it's like, it's entertaining because it's drama.
Right.
But on the counterpart of that, if you look at his stream and then you look at his chat, it's on a similar wavelength. So like, he gets the kind of people that want to consume that content, and they also want to give that back through the community and through the chat. So he gets a lot more people in chat that will flame him or that will like tune in, because that's like the vibe.
Right. That makes sense, because you're attracting the gravitational pull.
Yeah, dude, it's like you're putting the energy out on Twitch. You're going to get people that reciprocate that. I mean, people that don't are still going to come to. Like, it's not a go-to all. But, so like, for instance, there's a couple streamers that I watch that have a different vibe. So, like, it's easy for me. I won't use myself as an example because I feel like it's too easy. But like, I like to watch Boogie2988. I love his content. I like him because he's genuine, he's honest, and he's funny. And he has like when he's not being goofy, he has like a really supportive vibe that he gives off. What's going on over here? And so like, he puts out a different kind of energy. So when you go to his stream, a lot, and this is a big streamer, but like, most of the vibes that are going on in chat are all pretty supportive. They're like, they're kind of enjoyable. So I have like the same thing that I enjoy. Like, the people that hang out on my stream are there because we all have a mutual like need to want to reciprocate or give off this energy. And I think that you will attract what you put out on Twitch. That's the simplified way. I could have said that in like 2 seconds, but give you some background information. So I think it's really important to ask yourself, like, what kind of a stream do I want to have supportive and fun people? I don't even want to say fun people, because you can have, do I want to have supportive people and positive people? Cool. All right. Or do I want to have dramatic, enthusiastic people? Okay, cool. Like, depending on what you put out there, you're going to attract more of those people, I think, over time. You'll get everybody, like, you'll get all colors of the rainbow in there, but so I think those are two really big ones. And then being strategic with the games. I think this is one that people don't pay attention to, and it's so easy. Is being like, I want to start Twitch, and I don't know anybody, and I'm going to start playing League of Legends. And, like, you got to realize that if you're streaming League of Legends, you're competing with thousands of other people that are also streaming League of Legends, and it's going to be really hard to gain exposure competing with thousands of people. So I think what's really important is to start off and be strategic with the games that you stream. Look for games that don't have 10,000 viewers, and if you can find a game where you're going to be a little higher in the viewer list, you have better odds of meeting new people. So I think you need to balance some potential for exposure with a game that you won't hate. Then it's genuine. Now, if you're playing a game just for exposure and you hate it, that doesn't fit like my framework. So I don't do stuff like that. I do both. I'm like, yeah, I want to meet some new people, but I also don't want to hate playing this game for a month. So let me pick something that's, you know what I mean? So,
and I've done that before, where like I'll pick up a game, I'm like, this is trash. Why am I playing it? And then I stop. Like, you gotta stop. You can't just like grind your teeth and fucking go through it with it. Yeah. Unless it's funny. Maybe there's like some wiggle room in there.
Yeah, if it's fun. Yep. I would say like those are some of mine. Do you have what are some of your hot points you would point out for
those
people?
Two are really big ones. I think like first and foremost, being a viewer first is huge. Yep. I would really encourage most people to seek therapy. I don't know, dude. It's really weird. Like, I feel like a lot of people, this is kind of like the internet day and age. So like, people's emotions and emotional state and all of this stuff is literally on display for everybody to see at all points in time. And we have a lot of people who are very, I'm not going to say immature. That's not the right word. They're just not experienced and are like partnered, and they're irresponsibly sharing information or being generically positive or not really doing anything besides benefiting themselves. And so like when you're a viewer and you get to know these people and you get to hang out with them, you get to start to see these red flags in the communities that you're like a part of. And then you can identify like what you like and what you don't like. And I really think like that the time that I had spent when I quit streaming and spent viewing was super valuable because it helped me like align with, okay, well, I know what I want to do and what content I want to create. So how do I get closer to doing that content? And who can I talk to help me that is willing to help me? You know, asking questions and being vulnerable, like I was talking about, where I don't know, like how do I find this out? Like that's a huge part of it. Man, I mean, honestly, like those are the big things. It's just like all this etiquette about Twitch. Like this is stuff that you should be acquainted with prior to getting started on Twitch. Like you should be familiar with how people interact and like how it's not okay to be going into somebody's channel and be like, hey, I'm going to go stream now. Bye. You know, like it happens a lot, especially for
if I could push on that button, dude.
Yeah. Like it's not that it's a bad thing. Like understand being mutual friends and talking about streaming and like all of that. But when it's just out of nowhere and it's not in context, it's
You're
like
there for 2 minutes and then you're leaving. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, you're cool, man. I dropped you a follow. I'm going to be streaming. It's like, well, okay, man. Like, I don't know.
What was the intention behind you coming in here?
Yeah.
Right.
The intention was you telling everyone you were doing it.
Yes. Dude, that's so funny because I've recently been thinking a little about that. I was like, you know, I think eventually there needs to be some more videos that are put out on like etiquette. You know, everybody can reciprocate that differently. Like, you know, like I'm not saying that that's the right or the wrong way, but I think that's pretty fair, you know, to have some level of I was like mannerism.
I was really thinking about like how they do the whole like Twitch affiliate program and all that, and how I don't know. I feel like there needs to be like, you know how they had requirements before you can become an affiliate? I feel like even before you can become an affiliate, or
should roll out,
or not before become an affiliate, but before you can even start streaming, there is like accrued, like how much time did you spend in a stream? Are you familiar with like these etiquette, not rules, but like the what I would call the like the unsanctioned rules of just like communicating online? Like, do you understand what those are? Because you shouldn't be giving out your information, your personal information anywhere. Like, how do these people get scammed? Right, exactly. It's like there's just these fundamentals that I think a lot of people should meet. And man, I it's just, how can you do it? Well, you throw them in there, but you give them like a loose outline of what they can play with. So like, I don't know, man. I say first and foremost, be a viewer. Find the content creators that you vibe with the most. Realize what kind of content you'd like to make, and then pursue streaming and ask questions constantly. If you feel like you're stagnating or failing, really ask yourself these questions as to like, should I pursue this? Is this a hobby? What am I really thinking about in terms of success? Because there's 500,000 plus people doing this right now. And if your idea of being successful is turning on a camera and then hounding people for views and follow for follow and all this other inauthentic ways to like build your community, you're gonna get shit on eventually. And I hope that you don't think the world's out to get you. I hope it's a great, you know, learning experience for you and become stronger from it. And that's it.
Yeah, I think you're. Oh, boom! Drop the mic.
Yeah.
I thought my computer just tapped out. Both my monitors went black, so I'm glad that I'm still here. I don't know why that happened, but
oh, weird. Probably a timer, or like if you didn't touch your mouse for a bit.
That might, you know what? That might be it.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, that was it. You guys, I feel like, is there anything that? Well, I guess this is a good question. To like surmise this portion of the talk show, and then we'll get into the questions people were asking. Do you have any questions for me about the show, myself and I, anything that you were curious about that you'd like to ask?
Me or the audience?
You. Oh, sorry, I didn't even like say.
No, I figured.
John, go ahead. Yeah.
You know what? I was actually originally like curious, but now I know the answer now as to how this show became a thing. You know, and like what the intention behind what kind of like content you wanted to put out was. And I super respect bringing out content that's backed by experience, because that's the best kind of value anybody can bring. Because it's one, you know, it's like having a 10-year-old kid telling you how to make $1 million. Maybe he's like a genius, right?
Sure.
And he's like, I know how to make $1 million, but I'm like, okay, have you made $1 million?
Right.
I'm gonna respect the person who's been there more, and I'm going to value his input more because he has experience backed by work, backed by all these other things that, you know, work into that success. So I think that's really, I respect that a ton. I'm really big on, like, as I've gotten older, I've learned that you can do really well being a human if you're genuine, if you try to understand the intention behind things. Like, sometimes I mess up, you know, like I feel like I'm a pretty good friend to all the people I'm friends with, but sometimes, like, I drop the ball.
For sure. Yeah.
I have no problem as long as I can see it, and sometimes I need to be told because I don't see it.
Yeah.
But, like,
well, that's where, you know, you get good friends that call you out on your shit.
Yes.
And I love that. Like, that's the best relationship to be had.
I've had both circumstances. For instance, I've had a friend who was like, yo, you know what, man? Like, I really, you know, I invite you to stuff all the time because I want you to be there. But I really, like, in the past, I used to make excuses to not go, and then I would not show up. Or I would say I'm going to go, and then I would not show up because I would make an excuse.
Right.
And he called me out on it one day. And then, like, he sent me that, and I was like, you know, he sent it to me, respectfully communicated it, which I respected. And I was like, you know what? You're right, dude. And I responded back, and I was like, dude, you know what? You're super duper right. I think I've been dropping the ball on this. I think there's some ways that I can improve, and I'm sorry that I did this to you. It wasn't my intention to, but I've had, you know, here's why I was doing it, because, you know, sometimes I'm self-conscious or whatever. So I think like, using experiences, being transparent is really important, being genuine, and, like, dropping the ego. So, like, that's why I like the whole concept behind your podcast. I wouldn't have learned how important it is to just, like, if you mess up, like, just fess up to it and get over it. Like,
admit it.
You know,
yeah.
like, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to win an argument. It's like that. I wouldn't have come to that conclusion had I not been through tons of experiences where I dropped the ball, and then I was like, do I want to pretend like I didn't know because I want to, like, not look bad? Or do I just want to say, fuck it, I don't care if I look bad, I messed up. You know, I'd rather, the friendship means more to me than being right.
Right.
So
yeah,
anyways,
it's like, no, that's a really valid thing. Like, having those conversations are tough. And, you know, if you got a lot of respect for each other, they're very easy to have, although difficult to, like, engage with, you know? And man, like, growing up with all the friends that I've had and the small circle of friends that I have now, like, if I call somebody out on their shit and it's not taken in the way that I thought they would, then it's like, okay, well, I'll approach this later, but I want you to know how I feel, and I'll just leave it at that, and then we'll reapproach it later on. But man, I've got, like, brothers, you know, where, like, they're like, yo, dude, I invited you to this, we made plans, you didn't show up. That hurt me, and I want you to know that. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then transparency is, like, the big thing. Mutual respect. You know, we understand we have faults, but it's like, what's going on here? Because the assumption, like, having positive intent, assuming positive intent is probably one of the biggest things you could possibly do, is just assume that, yes, you did mean to go there, but, like, what's going on? You know, like, what's going on in your life that you feel like you can't, you know, hang out with me or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions for me?
Nope. That was good.
Awesome. All right, let's get to our queue. We got quite a few questions. Let me see here. Our first one is, I can fix it later. Flex, have you ever gone to the gym and did almost a full workout before realizing that you forgot to eat? Because that's what I did today.
100%. Yeah. I actually, before I realized how important it was for me, I think everybody's body is different, so you have to kind of realize what your body needs to perform well.
Right.
I learned I need to have a little bit of, calories are important for my body, and having a little bit of sugar in the tank, especially if I'm going to go do a big day like deadlift or something. Otherwise, like, I've had a couple circumstances where I've gone in there and, like, tried to crush it, and I've almost passed out.
Yeah, because you didn't eat.
Yeah, that's like not fun at all. So anyways, yep, I've been there.
Spoiler alert, food is energy.
Yep, boom. That's your fuel. That's your gasoline.
I did the same thing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, like, I ate at lunch, like, it's been like 5 hours, right? Yeah. And I'm gonna crush this workout on an empty stomach. Guess what? Nope, it's not happening.
Yeah, wrecked. Some people can do it too. Like I had a friend who could go and work out and not eat for half the day, and he did great. I was like, I used to beat myself up over it because I'm like, why can't I do that? Well, I'm like, yo, my body's different than this person, so quit measuring yourself on somebody else who's not you.
Yeah,
just
man.
Figure out what works for you.
Yeah. The questions of like, why can't I do this? It's like, well, I mean, you're not that person, so just get over it, you know?
Yeah.
Awesome. Next question comes from wait, hold on one second. Wait, I am trash.
Trash.
I know you do a lot of reading. I was wondering what book or books has made the most impact on your life and in what ways?
I don't know if that's geared towards you or me.
That's for both of us, but for you, I think primarily, yeah.
Which book? There is a book called Your Erroneous Zones by Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Nice.
It's so goofy because I think it came out in the 80s, not even the 90s.
Wow.
It's like a positive kind of book, but what I like about it is it's like positive affirmation with a hard dose of reality.
Nice.
And it allows me to be like, it's a book it's a self-help book, but it's a self-help book without the bullshit, you know? Like, it's like, here's what you got to do, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So figure it out. But here are the tools to figure it out. That was probably one of the most powerful books I ever read, especially in helping me learn how to manage my, like, why I felt so devastated during breakups and why I felt like there was this void that I needed to fill with another person. So like that was a really powerful way for me to recognize how important it was for me to be happy on my own 2 feet first. And there's a ton of other things that book brought value to in regards to my life, but that would be my book.
Cool.
Count it down.
2 books, and I don't do much reading. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I read a lot of scientific articles. The few books that I have read have had a profound effect on my life, and I think honestly it just comes down to me. For the reason I don't read books is I need to read things that I'm interested in, and I don't do that. I don't do that enough. I honestly don't. I'm like, I don't read books because I'm fucking dumb. Like, no, that's like the dumb voice in my head. It's like I see a book and I'm like, I'm not gonna read it because that's a lot of time invested. I could be doing other things. So I need to like find time for that, and it needs to be at bed, like going to bed. I need to put my phone fucking away.
Down. Yes.
You know? And I know I need to do that. I'm still in the process of doing it. And so books. Close Encounters with Addiction by Gabor Mate. Super interesting book. Helps humanize people to the whole like addiction problem that exists in our society. On topic of that, there's the whole like gaming being classified as like an addictive thing. A lot of people are poking fun at that shit, and it's, as somebody who grew up in an abusive household, I used video games to escape my reality quite a bit, to the point of my own like self-sacrifice in time, responsibility, and health. And I don't appreciate all these people who take it so lightheartedly and is like, can I get sick days off of work so that I can like I understand the joke behind the perspective because they haven't gone through it, but you're completely negating the people that have gone through it. So I would ask that when you see those tweets, don't respond to them aggressively, but it's like, did you even look at the definition of what addiction is? Because you didn't with this, like what this is. Sorry, little rant there. Close Encounters with Addiction, and then Scattered Minds for anybody who has ADHD, also by Gabor Mate, a psychologist who has ADHD and has mitigated a lot of the negative behaviors with identifying what those were. Really, really great book. And then there's a really short book about swordsmen, like swords, like the etiquette of being a swordsman in like the Ronin Empire, called The Five Rings by Musashi Miyamoto. And it's a simple book about like what you should be doing as a swordsman to be a good swordsman, a good samurai. But the Five Rings is essentially the 5 realms of being a human being. And it's something that came out like in the 1500s or some shit, but is still relevant today somehow, which is crazy. Yeah. So I would say that's a really good one. Cool. Yeah. Does that answer your guys' question? Thank you for posting those links, Josh. Seriously. Fucking nuts.
Josh, you're a beast.
Yeah, dude, Josh, best
You're a
mod.
beast, Josh.
Yeah,
Best mod?
best mod, 100%.
I believe it. I see it. I feel it. I taste it.
Taste it.
Oh, gosh.
Were you drinking out of a mason jar? Was our next question from DeFives.
I was drinking. It's a matcha green tea whole leaf. It's not a blend. They're just literally. It's like I have the leaves because I don't like using stuff in tea bags, and I just throw them in there. I used to put it in a little. I don't even know what you would call it, so it would brew in.
Mm-hmm.
I was like
Diffuser.
yeah, diffuser, I guess. I had a friend from Taiwan who drank it like this, and he was like, dude, if you do it like this, you don't have to spend money on a diffuser, and you don't have to, like, if it's made of plastic, you don't have the harmful plastic in with your hot water. So I was like, let me try it, and I tried it, and it works. So, yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I finished it. So you have that much in there, otherwise you're literally drinking. I don't like to do that, so I usually leave like a little bit of water in.
Only for the hardcore matcha
That's
drinkers.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Take a swig back. It is a mason jar, yes.
Oh, it says what is, so you did answer that question as well.
Yeah.
Trash, Wait I Am Trash says, what are some of your hobbies or activities you both enjoy outside of streaming? You can go first.
I would say, like, even though I'm not always consistent, weightlifting is one of mine. I've learned that I function much better in the gym when I have an accountability partner, which is, it could just be my friend that I work out with. I'm more likely to show up. But having been forced to go by myself since I started full-time streaming, for the most part, I've learned how to get a little better. So I would say weightlifting. I used to ride dirt bikes. I rode them for like 16 years of my life. I had to sell my bike for another business venture I tried a couple years ago. So when I was working, I was doing a corporate job for 1 year out of my handful of years, and I saved up enough money to buy a Harley. So I would say like riding my motorcycle, although I still need to get that going because now it's warm enough. I'd say riding my motorcycle and weightlifting. That would be my two. What about you?
I like playing video games.
Yeah.
I like playing video games offline stream. I really do. It's like it makes me feel really happy. I do a lot of role play in Sea of Thieves with my friends.
Nice.
As like a drunk pirate. It's fun. I don't actually drink. I just act like I'm drunk. So I like offline gaming. I really like working out. I've got all my kettlebells and like my steel mace and shit on the floor here. Working out is like I now know that is absolutely essential for me to maintain any sort of balance. That excess energy that I have is extremely constructive in a workout environment, and it makes me so happy, you guys, like that I'm also able to do it again, because I've gone through the ebbs and flows of like starting a new job and burning myself out and not like being in shape and eating poorly. Like it's this constant thing that I'm like checking all the time, and it's always difficult for me to find that balance. And right now I'm in you guys I think can tell I'm in a really good physical and mental space primarily because I'm able to like take the unknown, the uncertainty, and the ego that is like, yo dude, like you can't lift these weights right now. You need to start off small again, set the bar low, work yourself back up to where you used to be, and just fucking accept it. Don't hurt yourself, so I'm doing like, I've been working out 30 minutes, 45 minutes every day prior to stream and kicking ass and having a good time, and it feels good, man. What else outside of stream? Talk shows that don't get posted on here. Like I love just talking with people and hanging out and watching TV shows like with my friends online, like Rabbit and stuff. Have you done that?
Yep.
Yeah, so great.
Amazing.
Spending time with my fiance, eating delicious food, cooking, lots of minor hobbies. Yeah. Oh, and I like making weird memes. Like I like, they're extremely personal, but a lot of the stuff you guys see on the stream is like inside jokes between me and my friends. Everything from like the sound clips to like me and my buddy James like dancing around a pole. Like that was something that just happened. It wasn't even like we're gonna post this on the internet. It was just this is happening right now and we're doing it. And James, the other guy in the video that does the dance with me, is still like one of my extremely close and weird friends, and he's one of the reasons why I have such a weird vocabulary. Like I call coffee hot bean juice now because of him, and like
Nice.
the phrase "it makes me good." Like I wasn't saying that before, you know. Like there's all these weird things that I've adopted because of my fucking brother, who's just one of the best inspirational dudes. And man, I love you, James. If you're here, I saw that you subbed earlier. James. I love you, bud. Next question. These are good questions, man. Blah 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 blah. Do you take ADHD meds, or did you just learn this fact about yourself, your self-help? I was never prescribed medication. I was actually, with the high-fat diet that I was doing, that I'm kind of doing right now, like semi-keto, or low carb is what I call it. Low carb, high fat. I am mitigating a lot of what is needed for medication because I'm fixing it through my diet. So high fat, your brain needs fat to function. I have a lot of fat in my food to work. So there you go. Would you rather go skydiving or hang gliding? Asks I Can Fix It Later.
Oof. I would pass on both because I hate flying, but I would do.
Same.
I think I would do skydiving because at least I would have a parachute. If you screw up with a hang, I don't know.
Dude, both suck.
Fuck. I don't like either one of those.
I don't like accelerating into the ground, and that's what both of those entail. But I feel like if you've got a hang glider, like there might be a chance. You know what I mean? That's you can't really control your trajectory as a body. And if you hit the water, you're still dead. Like,
it's true.
There's more of a chance for survival, maybe.
Hang gliding with a parachute. I think that would be good.
I feel like that's standard. Like, you would do that.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like double protection. So hang gliding.
Yeah. I just saw Scott's question. I thought we were already in a trifecta amazing relationship. I got a question for you. All right, Konky Donk.
Okay.
My heart was taken from me today when I learned that you were engaged. Excuse me very much. I thought we had a thing.
Yeah, I'm getting married in 2 weeks, bro.
I'm pissed. I had a ring picked out and everything, dude. You know what? Scott and I talked about it, man. We had everything. We had a big party ready to go. I was gonna get on my knee. Stolen.
Get fucked, nerd.
Rip. All right, go ahead.
All right. No, you're good. You're good. Josh Jobish asks any beard grooming tips? That's for you. I'm all stashed, baby.
I'm pretty new to drawing my I'm actually pretty new to growing my beard. What's up, David? Man, I think my go-to tip would be beard oil for sure. Is really important because if your beard gets dry, you actually get like split ends. It gets rough. It's not fun. You get dry skin underneath. So you get your beard oil and you kind of rub it in the entire thing. When it gets really long, I think beard wax is dope because it can kind of help you shape it. I don't like growing my beard out long because my beard just poofs out to the side, so I look ridiculous. So I would say beard oil is definitely important. Trimming your upper mustache, if you don't do that, it will drive you nuts. Like, I cannot tell you how many damn times I eat my mustache when I'm eating like a hamburger or something, and it just drives me crazy. So those would be my two. I don't really know what else. I'm still really new to beards, so yeah.
Fat tips with your boy.
Yeah, the fat tips, yo.
Kill Cannon asks, can I date both of you at the same time? In your dreams.
Oh. You know we love
you. I love you, Scott. I love you so much.
I love you.
Mayor Wirtz says, what do you do outside of streaming that impacts your Twitch in a positive way? We kind of answered that question with the whole like life balance conversation. So like sleeping, eating, physical activity, those things definitely play into the space. And also knowing when to step away is a big one when you need to take a break. Michael asks, what made you decide to do the thing you want as your job instead of bearing with the 9-to-5 and doing the thing you want in your off time? You kind of answered that, but go ahead and give us a little summary, I guess.
I knew that if I didn't do this full time, making this a potential. I know I don't have the social energy to do a 9 to 5 and then come in and stream a long period of time. I could stream, but they would be very short and they wouldn't be like, essentially it would take me probably 3 to 4 years to try to make it a career versus maybe 1 year if I could make it. And I had the means to sustain myself. And I felt like if I could give it a full blown, like full push for a year, my odds of being able to make it and putting all that energy back in for a second year were there was a better chance of me making it. And I was just honest with myself. Like, I don't think I have the social energy to do both like that. I could do them, but they would be very different. Like, I might do like 2 hours every other day or something, but I don't feel like I would be able to have the same amount of fun that I do on stream. Like that, everybody knows, like, that's why I stopped streaming before when I was doing real estate. I was like tired all the time and I didn't have the energy, and it stopped being fun for me because I just wanted to go home and like veg out because I was tired. So I have a lot of respect for people like you, Konky, that can do this to some degree and work and have fun and still show up and be you. Like, I struggled with that a lot. So the job well done on your end, and anybody else that does this and also works and stuff. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question there.
Yeah. Next question. It comes from Kira. Says, "Can I get the love story of how you met / fell in love with your fiance?" Yeah. So she had been visiting at my previous job like a few years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. 4 years ago. Holy shit. 4 years ago. She was visiting from a different location. And she was only going to be there for a week. And I thought she was somebody else, and she thought I was somebody else. So we thought we recognized each other. And then I was like in the middle of asking, like, "Hey, you want to go out to lunch?" And I was about to say a different name. And she's like, "Yeah, of course." And then, "I haven't seen you and we were like, "Oh shit, we don't know each other at all." Well, let's go out to lunch or whatever. And so we were friends first. And then just got really close, started hanging out, and then met the love of my life, man. Super down to earth, amazing person. I have gotten better as an individual because of this person, and I've been more in touch with my emotional side and feelings, which is something that I had struggled with for a long period of time, because growing up in the household that I did, it was very much like pick yourself up by your bootstraps and don't be such a pussy, like it was that mentality. So being vulnerable at all was like, no, like I would rather die than anybody see that, you know what I mean? Like, it was that level, and it slowly but surely started dissolving. So yeah, that's the love story.
I like that one. Well played.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah. Next one is from Wait, I'm Trash, and he asks, "What are both of your dream cars?" And that's our final question.
Mine would be a Ford Raptor. It used to be an F-150, then the Raptors came out. That would definitely be my go-to. I'd have to make quite a bit of money to justify an expense to that degree, but that would be mine. What about you?
Tesla Model 3 or S, because I used to work there, and driving those cars was fucking amazing, dude.
Hell yeah, I bet.
The moment I let go of the steering wheel and the car was taking me all the way to Chicago without any stress, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I can't believe this future exists. Because when I started working there, I didn't really understand like how well it could do it. And this was like fucking 2.5 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah, 2.5 years ago. I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm not going to trust this thing. It's cruise control, right? And it was 4:30 p.m. I had to go drop off delivery paperwork, and they were like, yeah, just take the car, and there's the cruise control stick. You just pull it towards you twice, and the car will keep you centered, follow traffic, brake for you, all of that shit all the way there. And I said, okay, well, I'll do that. And sure enough, it was crazy. I've never been that not stressed in a car going in a highway. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was stop and go traffic. I was just like, and the windshield for that
Damn.
for a Model X goes all the way back, so it's just this big window to see the city and like all that. It was sublime.
Nice.
Great stereo sound system. It was weird. So yeah. Well, mate, let's do a Model X, a Tesla Model X. It'd be sick.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Another question. Kill Cannon, would you ever want to be a politician, local, state, or federal? No. Reason being is I'm not willing to sacrifice myself for any sort of politicalness in this current climate, even though we're in this like current like revolution, quote unquote. I think it's really great. I love that I can be a part of it. I love that I can vote and put these people into place. But I am not the man to be doing any of this. What about you, Flex? Would you consider it?
Yeah, I think transparently, I don't know if I could deal with the pressure.
Yeah.
Personally, I would let in the right circumstances. It would be nice to say yes if I could, because like I feel like I look at so many things that are happening in the government and everything, and I'm like, how do people? Why are there no good people? Like I know there's good people for sure. Not everybody's a turd, but like I feel like it's so easy for there to be a lack of like genuinely good human beings in leadership roles in the United States. It blows my mind how much like quote unquote politics goes on for the benefit of making money or whatever.
Right.
And it would be nice to be like, maybe I could be a person that could actually like go in there and act and do really good things,
Right.
Like that would be nice. But to be fair, I don't know that I could deal with the pressure and stuff. But I can agree with you on the note of like trying to get the right person in power to do that.
Right.
Through intention.
Yeah. Vote, please.
That was a good question.
That was a really good question.
Yeah.
Mike says, I feel like this, and I hate using this term because it sucks, millennial men are starting to have that transition from don't express to emotional openness. Well, I think that's honestly a thing. It's just a human characteristic. So like knowing yourself, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, where like when you're in this space of not knowing, that's where the negative behavior starts to come out, the doubt, the negative self or perception, the perfectionism, saying you're not good enough, like all of this starts to happen, I think, if you don't understand who you are on a fundamental level. And fundamentally, we can understand ourselves physically and emotionally. That's it. And if you don't understand your emotions, you're pretty much like walking around, I don't know, not being fully utilizing yourself. If you're not utilizing all of yourself, I don't know, like it just feels like a waste. Like I have all of these emotions, why the fuck am I not addressing them? It's like that's a huge part as to how I become a person. And if I can't express who I am and talk about these things in a rational way instead of being angry all the time or attacking people that are vulnerable, then it's like, why the fuck am I even talking to you guys online? Like I need to set an example, like, and I think, well, this is kind of a tangent, but I want to set an example of somebody who can be all of those things and be fine with it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want. I want to be able to show you guys that it's fine to be upset or sad or whatever, and like maybe I'm not portraying that 100% of the time, but when you see it, you're like, he's not trying to do that, it's just happening.
Yep. I think if I'm gonna add on to that, I think it's important to be in an like if you don't feel like you can be, and maybe I think if you're as a person you don't feel like you want to be emotionally transparent, maybe there are people out there it's just like that's right for you. I know for me personally, I feel like it's much more beneficial to be open with other human beings, and I found that you can build stronger relationships if you're honest with one another, friendships, relationships, and so on and so forth. So what I've learned, especially in regards to like a romantic relationship, and Kira can tell you this, like I think what's been really powerful, what's taken Kira and I's relationship to the next level, was me for the first time ever out of all the relationships I've been in, being in my late 20s. It took me all the way to being in my late 20s to figure this out. Was recognizing that I needed to be with a person that I felt safe with so that I could open up and not feel like
For
I was
sure.
going to get hurt.
Or judged,
So,
yeah.
yes. So I think sometimes maybe you need to search for the right circumstances to be able to be you and
Right.
not feel like for you to take your shell off and not feel like someone's going to stab you now that you don't have a shell on.
Right.
Like for you to take it off and be like, if I'm not accepted, I can put it back on if I need to, or I can take it off.
Right.
So yeah, so I think there is like so much benefit to being friends with people, to being in a relationship with a person. And if you're lucky enough to have parents, family, that you can be vulnerable and not be judged. I think those particular circumstances to have all three of those boxes checked off it's very difficult. I don't have all of those checked off either, but
Same.
I'm really lucky. Yeah, I can tell you, and I'm sure Konky can as well. I feel like when you were talking about your fiance, this is probably one of the things that stems out of it when you said that she helped you become the person that you are and like helped you be more like outspoken and stuff about how you feel.
Yeah.
Is
I
like,
wasn't being shaped by her, what she wanted. It was like, I'm able to be more myself because I'm comfortable and safe. And that's exactly right.
yeah, when you realize you can be open with somebody else and they're not going to wreck you, you build a bond that's it's a little stronger at the very least. I think for me it was like almost exponentially stronger.
Right.
But like you have potential, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed, to build a really strong bond with friends, family, and your significant other relationship, whatever. So
Agreed.
yeah, just to play off of what you were saying, I think that's really powerful.
Agreed, man.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, man. I'm super glad you guys are enjoying the conversation. Thank you guys for participating as well. Like, for real. All of this is great.
Yes, thank you. You guys rock.
Wait, I Am Trash says, I feel it's also hard because if you weren't able to have those feelings before, it's hard to understand how that feels, and or the first experience could be an eye-opening moment. It's hard to say you're depressed if you kept your feelings built up because expressing yourself shows vulnerability. Agree.
Yeah. And
honestly, oh man, go ahead.
That's what's tough about it. If you don't have the right circumstances to let that energy out, sometimes you don't know what it's like. Like, I'll tell you guys one thing. I can tell, like, you and I feel like if we lived in the same city, we would definitely vibe so well. I mean, we already do. But, like, I feel like we could build a good friendship to the point where we could, like, really sit down and just talk. Like, that's to have, like I told Kira, we have this tea house in Albuquerque. And, like, when I say tea house, I mean, like, so one of my best friends and I, his name's G Money. He comes to Albuquerque and visits like once a year. Every time he comes, we go to this tea house together. And we are literally the only two guys that go to the tea. It's all reservations, and it's like 80 women and 2 guys. It's so out of the norm. Like, we're socially not accepted being there, but we both love it. And one of my favorite things about in both of ours, like why we enjoy going there, aside from enjoying good tea, is like it literally fosters an environment for pure just good potential conversation. And the way to have like really clean, good conversation is to feel like you can say how you feel, and even if the other person isn't gonna agree with you, at least you can say it. And then you can talk about it. And if you don't come to terms, then, okay, cool. We both have different, inputs and stuff. So I think that, I think really powerful to experience what it's like being in an environment that fosters being able to be open and not get wrecked. If that's what you want. I think it's also okay if you want to be closed off and stuff, and like it's your core value, that's what you want to, like, I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to dog you.
Right. Same.
I'll tell you, I think it's better if you don't, but I don't have to be right. So
agreed. I look forward to the aging process because for it means growing emotionally to a place where you can start truly loving who you are, and thus extend the sense of security in oneself to how we treat others in our intimate relationships and close friendships. I agree. That's some good.
Yep.
That's what I would say. That's great.
It's delicious. So good.
Such a good nugget of anecdote. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Does anybody have any final questions before we finish up? And while people are thinking, I like doing this. Do you have anybody that you'd like to raid?
Me?
You?
I'd have to look. I don't know who's live.
No worries. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. That's cool.
Dude, for anybody who's joining in just now, I'm so sorry you're coming in at the end of the show. But just like all shows, we highlight all of this stuff for you guys to view. It's all in my videos. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and spending time with us and participating in chat. This won't be the last time we have a conversation as well. I do have like a list of people that I like, that I feel like I have a really good chemistry with, and I know that it will be a productive and great conversation. So look out for future episodes. As always, you guys can check out Flex at his home channel. I'm sure most of you guys are already following him. If not, please, there's his link, YouTube channels. If you guys are curious about any of the other stuff for the show, DMs are always open. We have a Discord as well. I created a Discord not centered around me as a streamer. It was in participation with a lot of other people that I value in terms of opinion and how they thought like a Discord should be created, and it's all about sharing experiences. And that doesn't mean it can't change either. Thanks to the amazing community, not only do we get scientific topics to talk about on a regular basis, but we also get a lot of music and artwork and new channels that change with the times, because we got to keep things fresh. And if you guys have feedback about the show, the Discord, myself, like whatever it is, I'm open to it. I'm ready to accept it. Okay, I'm all about it. Ooh, got another question. Is the better part of a PB&J sandwich the peanut butter, the jelly, or the jam? PB, peanut butter for me.
I said it was Scott.
It was Scott. Oh no. Old man Mike asks, how do you identify your personal strengths? I find myself to be quite average and don't recognize what others find valuable about me. That's a good question. I think like when it came down to finding my personal strengths, it wasn't until I started identifying what I was weak on. And when I say identifying what I was weak, what are the opportunities that I have to improve? And for me, it was physical. I got a lot of confidence in my physicality, so much so that it was like bad. It was ego driven, and that was a very brief period of my life. You can actually still see it on my Instagram if you go back far enough. A lot of hashtag warrior spirit and like all this other fucking dumb shit. I was a proponent of generic positive feedback as well. Get your cringe shit ready so you can take a deep dive on my Instagram and take a look if you like. But really, it was just, what am I weak against and how can I change that? And what's going to change those things? And social situations was a big one. I think like identifying like, yeah, again, my weaknesses was the biggest one and what can I improve on? Thank you, Josh. I got to put that in the Discord description when it pops up. Oh God, Scott, that's sexy. I would absolutely toss myself into the sandwich if you were the one taking a bite. Don't kink shame this man.
Scott.
Peanut butter and Kilgannon sandwich, I'm down.
That's right.
I'll eat the crusts.
Oof, baby. I like that. You got the doubled zoom face. I just saw that. I popped it up because we're not doing it like.
Oh yeah, of course.
That was pretty funny, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Comedic timing has been like one of my biggest fucking things that I love to do. And like no sound effects, nothing, just like awkward staring into the camera.
The goodness, yeah.
I love you guys. All right, cool. Did you find somebody to raid?
I actually don't have anybody small that's live. They're all gigantic streamers. So
okay. Was there anybody that is gigantic that you? Well, not, are they super gigantic? Like what are we talking about? Like thousands?
They're all really big. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me take one more peek. Let me just.
All right. If not, I do have somebody we can use. Whoa, shh, Twitch, shh, don't talk.
Twitch. Oops, I just closed the window down that I was taking a peek at. You know, it's funny. Oh, we could do as real as it gets.
Oh hell yeah!
Although, I think he's doing. Let me look.
Is he ending soon or?
He's doing a. He's also doing, I think, a podcast or a show. So I don't know. Yeah, he is. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? He's got to show up.
He should be okay. Let me see.
He's the only one I didn't see that he was live. So I think that would be my vote. But I'll let you choose, dude. You pick whoever you think is.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Rude Clouds and stuff is there. Let's go.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, my ad just popped off. I was like, I thought I remember hearing him talking about doing this today.
Okay.
There you go. I feel like it's a good mutual. We both know as real as it gets, so that's cool.
Yep, and I know Rude Clouds. I love both of them. I haven't gotten to hang out as much as I would like to with Azriel, but man, I'm a fucking fan. Like, anytime I'm in there, it's just I got to see him in person. I met him in person first, so that was fucking cool. Man, you can tell how excited I am because I swear a lot, so I apologize.
I do the same thing.
I have no questions, just hugs for you both and almost too much charisma for one screen. How does my monitor contain it? That's a good question. Thank you for that compliment.
Oh.
Flex hug, flex hug, flex hug. All right, bro. Oh! 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 Flex!
Somebody!
Flex!
That's me!
Ha!
Don't stop!
Ha!
That's me!
Ha!
It's so good! Oh!
Oh!
Oh, Scott's in here! Oh my
Oh!
god!
Oh my god!
Oh! Oh!
Oh! Yeah!
That was a magical moment. Thank you.
To be remembered for the ages.
I gotta remember I got that one in before you were married. Thank God.
Oh.
Oh, I have 2 weeks to try to get you to accept my marriage proposal instead.
I'm all blurry from the hug. It just went from 6 to midnight. All right, get out of here. All right, boys, we're gonna be raiding Azriel as it gets. Y'all know the drill. What's our raid message? Raid message is if I had a peanut butter sandwich, I'd want you in it.
Hey, by the way, thank you all so
Bam.
much for everybody that's been present today. We appreciate it. And to those of you that came by and stuff that I get to spend time with every day, thank you for giving Konky and I some of your time tonight. I appreciate y'all making an effort to come over to another stream and hang out with us. As you can tell, not only is he a sexy beast, but he's a good person. So thank you. David, Fix It, Steven, Scott, I know you know Konky as well, but I was so pumped to see you here. I hope you're doing well, Scott. Benson, Kira, and I know Trash was here earlier. And then Michael Crichton's a good friend of mine too. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I apologize, but you guys know we appreciate you.
I gotta let me appreciate all over you really quick before we go in there. Scott!
Oh, do it.
With the extra spicy bits, dude. Thank you. Holy crap. 2,000? That's this stream? Bro!
Oh, baby.
What? Okay, alright. I see you. Thank you. Subscribed with the Twitch tier Prime? Tier Prime. That's Twitch Prime, right? That's what it means? I don't know why it says tier Prime. Did you know that you can subscribe to your favorite streamers when you got your Twitch Prime account linked to your... Wait, your Prime account from Amazon Twitch linked to your Twitch account?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. That.
You guys know.
That's right.
When it's linked, you get to subscribe for free. Curry, thank you for gifting a sub to Kira. Wait, I Am Trash hosted the channel. Thank you. Kill Cannon. Again, 1,000 bits, man. Thank you. Etwert for the host. Hunger James for 11 months in a row. Thank you so much for using your Twitch Prime. I love you, James. You're my brother. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. Fives 515-0510 CA. Thank you for the Twitch Prime 2 months in a row. Curry, thank you for continuing your sub. 10 months. Man, dude, I'm looking at these months and like they fly like 2 months ago.
I know.
That's crazy. Dude, Flex. Thank you for that sub, man. Oh!
Yeah,
Oh! Thank you. Josh. Fucking 17 months, dude. Oh my god, crazy.
Hot
Riley,
damn.
thank you for that host. Alami, not salami. Thank you for the host. Thank you for the host, Flex, again. And Josh for the host. I appreciate you also, Josh, doing that host right in the beginning to see if alerts were enabled. I see you, dog. Thank you. Okay, we're raiding as real as it gets. The raid message is if I had a peanut butter sandwich, I'd want you in it, okay? We're fucking going. You guys can catch me tomorrow with the XP Talk Show with Lee. I will see you guys later. Flex, are you going to be live tomorrow?